Today I want to introduce to you the organization that is called Nigerwives of Nigeria, and this is from a book edited by Pat Oyelola. That's the story of women from all over the world that married to Nigerians. But particularly today, I want to talk about the chapter about Nsukka. Nsukka, where I lived, that is the University of Nigeria campus that was having two campuses actually, Nsukka and Enugu, but that branch of Nigerwives was opened at Nsukka, and that is the story of it. Nsukka branch, 1982, 2004. Nigerwives came to Nsukka in 1982, introduced by Joan Ezeilo, who had been contacted by Leslie Ofoebu of Lagos branch. Leslie Ofoebu wrote two books actually, so I would advise you to read those. It came at an opportune time. Shortly before, in 1979, expatriate wives at the University of Nigeria had their security shaken when a circular from the Federal Ministry of Establishment changed their employment status from permanent to contract and without expatriate benefits. Employment status remained a perennial cause for concern, while immigration and legal rights of women were also frequent sources of uncertainty and insecurity. The desirability of a national body to address these issues was therefore evident. Potential members at Nsukka were divided, however, on the more social objectives of Nigerwives, which in the local environment might be construed as separatist and so generate alienation rather than integration. The University of Nigeria Nsukka was a small and close-knit community where everything, including residence, was concentrated within the campus, a small town society. Other members, however, argued that Nigerwives could deliberately cultivate Nigerian involvement to learn about the environment and so better integrate with the society, as well as meet the social needs of those few members living off campus. In the end, it was decided to proceed with both legal and social objectives. The first meeting on February 6, 1982, was attended by 17 potential members, and I was one of them. Having taken the decision to focus on both legal and social purposes, the new branch elected officers identified possible activities and areas of interest and set up a procedure for holding meetings. They were to be on the first Saturday of every month from 4 to 6, with members rotating, hosting, and providing drinks while others contributed finger foods, a procedure that continued for the life of the branch. Members also arranged the first of many stimulating programs, a talk by Nigerwife Yuna Emechi on the legal status of foreign women married to Nigerians. This was the first of several such presentations, as legal status was an ever-present concern. For the first decade, Nigerwife Nsukka branch was a steady and active group of about 10 to 15 paid-up members. It was described as a very close group, with like a family away from home, whose members supported each other in joy and sorrow alike. And indeed, members pulled together in times of troubles, lending crucial emotional and physical support in times of bereavement, as well as celebrating joyous occasions like birth and weddings. With members drawn from 10 nationalities and diverse backgrounds, problems of understanding might sometimes arise, leading to an early president to pray, "We make the best of our different backgrounds and cultures and keep learning humbly from each other." Actually, shortly after the group started in 1982, that same year, we lost our first son that was disabled, and the group came to the village to accompany us to the burial, especially with the focus on children. We had two children at that time, two other children, and they took care of the two children for the whole day, which was so precious it cannot be described. So in the early years, I continue, Nsukka branch launched a full schedule of programs to foster adjustment and integration, talks, demonstrations on a wide scale of subjects relating to culture, the role of women in traditional life and ceremonies, traditional Igbo religion, the position of in-laws, bringing up other people's children, wearing traditional fabrics and head ties, a tour of the museum, Ikenga exhibition, Herald health hygiene in the tropics, immediate home medical care, AIDS, drug abuse, food and home science, using local foods for economic and nutritious cooking, making Nigerian soups, preparing upo, Bulgarian recipes, domestic uses of solar energy, and so on. Social activities were another area of emphasis, especially activities for children and families. Christmas and other holiday parties, dinner dances with husbands for New Year or Valentine's Day, picnics, swimming parties at nearby rivers and hills, shopping trips to near Oba Market and Onisha Main Market. Members also celebrated each other's birthday and attainment of degrees. Lessons for children including kung fu classes and arts activities, while adults learned the Igbo language and car maintenance. The branch was unable to mount charitable projects of its own, was other than occasional levies for charity, attributing this to its small size and remoteness. Instead, members contributed their background skills and experience in projects such as the Children's Center, that was a valuable experience and is still led by one of them, that's Virginia Dickey. A library and recreational center organized by campus women in which individual Nigerwives played prominent roles like Joan Ezeilo and Mrs. Dickey. The branch's second decade, the 1990s, brought increasing hardship and declining membership, with members beginning to leave for abroad. At the time, there was widespread strikes, and at a point, a whole 1 year strike on campus, which means that nobody was being paid. The 94-95 report labels this year the most difficult any of us had experienced. That is 95, the year we left for the UK. So with the result that branch activities centered around coping. Members organized bulk purchasing of essential commodities and briefed each other on the latest ways of cooking, including use of the abacha stove. They also tried to raise consumer consciousness by boycotting overpriced commodities, including petrol, walking cheerfully to work and market. At that time, getting petrol for your car was on the black market, and it's the time we, our family, decided to park our cars permanently because we couldn't afford the purchase of petrol or even repairing the cars. In addition to economic hardship, there were renewed anxieties about the legal position and employment rights of Nigerwives. Several expressed worry about the possibility of their contracts not being renewed. After all, striking university workers were sacked to June 93. And indeed, contract renewal became increasingly problematic. At the state level, 2 members lost their jobs in 97 when Enugu State dismissed all non-indigens from service. The 90s were also troubled times on campus, with respected academics imprisoned on false charges of sedition and arson, and security men arresting the young children of Nigerwives who were holding a picnic. It's at that time, after I had left, that police came to our house looking for me, thinking that I was one of these troublemakers. And my people said that I'd already left. Obviously, I'd done nothing. The proposed dinner party with husbands in 97 was twice postponed and then cancelled. As a result, the branch decreased from 12 in 94 to 8 in 95 to 5 in 98. Several members left due to anxiety over their economic and employment future or loss of their jobs. Others over concern for their children's education and prospects. Still others because of health issues. For those who remained, Nigerwives continued becoming a source of support and friendship, celebrating with former members when they returned for family ceremonies. They also continued to hold regular meetings. But eventually, while Nsukka branch is no more, it formed a noteworthy chapter in the history of Nigerwives. For a generation of women in Nsukka, Nigerwives provided a social support group that fostered their adjustment to a new society and culture. I advise strongly that you read this precious book to know more.